You know, when we think about hypercars, we usually think about them as machines, right? It's all about speed, power, the raw numbers. But what if a car was more than that? What if it was actually a philosophy? Well, today we're diving into something called the Valhalla Doctrine, an idea that's all about pure intent and design, and it might just change the way you think about luxury.
And this quote right here, this is the soul of the entire idea. It sets the stage perfectly because we're about to go way beyond horsepower and price tags. We're talking about authenticity, about the very essence of a creation.
So what is real luxury, anyway? According to this doctrine, it's not about being flashy or just expensive for the sake of it. No, it's a mix of three key things: deep, genuine authenticity, a design that feels totally timeless, and a story, a real narrative behind it all.
And that right there is the core idea. In a world where everything is just screaming for our attention, this philosophy suggests that the real value, the real luxury, is found in those quiet, confident things that connect with us on a much, much deeper level.
All right, so let's dig into the first pillar of this doctrine. It's this idea of artistry being the absolute foundation for everything that follows. It's not just an afterthought, it's the starting point.
So this is where we have to kind of shift our perspective. We're being asked to see the Valhalla not as a cold collection of gears and metal, but as a piece of sculpture, a living, breathing testament to what human creativity and skill can actually achieve.
I mean, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? It's not just about being aerodynamic. The idea is that every single line on the car is an intentional, beautiful choice, a brushstroke. It's why the car looks like it's doing 100 miles an hour even when it's perfectly still. That's kinetic elegance.
So let's break down those guiding principles. Purposeful beauty. That means nothing is just for show. It all has a job to do. Kinetic elegance. That's the sense of movement we were just talking about. And it all comes from this perfect marriage of engineering and art, all built on a foundation of pure sophistication.
And of course, this way of thinking doesn't just stop with the exterior. The inside is described as a sanctuary, a special place where there's this intuitive, unspoken dialogue between you and the car. Just imagine the feel of the leather, the satisfying click of the controls. It's all part of this incredibly personal and functional experience.
Okay, so that was the artistry. Now let's get to the heart of the machine, the second pillar. This is where we see this dynamic blend of groundbreaking, modern innovation, and a really deep sense of history.
And this is what's so incredible, this duality at its core. On one hand, you have this forward-thinking spirit, right? A cutting-edge hybrid powertrain, a total marvel of engineering. But on the other hand, you have this storied past, that unmistakable, soulful roar that comes from decades of racing DNA. It's the fusion of the two that really gives it its character.
Now, this is a really crucial point. The doctrine argues the Valhalla isn't exclusive just because they say they'll only make a certain number. No, it's exclusive because the level of skill, the pure mastery required to build one is so incredibly high. The scarcity is a natural result of that chase for perfection.
And what's the payoff for all that effort? Well, it's not just about going fast. It's about the feeling, that visceral, gut-level satisfaction of being in complete control of a machine that has been honed to the absolute highest standard. It's a different kind of thrill, one that's based on precision, not just raw speed.
All right, so let's bring those two ideas together, the artistry and the performance. Let's look at the Valhalla Doctrine as a complete, single philosophy of what real luxury is all about.
And here it is, pretty much in a nutshell. It's a three-part recipe. You need that uncompromised performance we just talked about. You absolutely have to have unparalleled artistry in its form. And finally, you need a profound narrative, the story, the heritage that gives the whole thing its soul.
And when all those pillars come together perfectly, the object becomes so much more than its function. It stops being just a car. It becomes a future heirloom, a piece of moving art, and a profound statement about what someone truly values.
I think this phrase just perfectly captures the whole thing. It's not shouting at you, it's a quiet, confident promise of an incredible experience, a blend of raw exhilaration and undeniable elegance. In a world full of noise, it's a whisper.
And that leaves us with this final thought to chew on. In our modern world, where everything seems to be competing for the spotlight, maybe the most valuable, the most authentic, the truest luxury is found in the things that don't have to shout to prove their worth.